Okay, strap yourselves in. Here we go again.
Alright, good luck with it.
Let's go.
Maybe just stay to the side there. Just
Yeah, I will. I'll stay out the way.
Just the first part, they always go crazy.
I don't know if you heard the marshal there, but basically he told my mate filming, just be careful of these runners because the first bit they always go crazy, implying that a lot of us go out too fast. So this initial first part is all about feeling each other out, seeing who's there, who looks strong. It's almost like going to a friend's party and seeing who's there. A few of us are just throwing in a few surges, just showing each other we're here to race, we mean business today. Can I just say what a beautiful morning this is. As you can see, sun shining, icy cold winter morning. I think it's around 4 degrees. And the 10k here today is in Battersea Park, which is my absolute favorite playground / training ground in the world. So I try and avoid looking at my watch within the first 200 to 300 meters because GPS can be incredibly jumpy. I usually wait for around half a k or 500 meters before I check it for the first time to get a sense of the pace. Today's 10k race is just over 4 half laps of Battersea Park. Half a lap of Battersea Park is 2.4 kilometers. We've started off hot here. As you can see, the field is already stretched about 500 meters into it, and I just need to be sensible here. We're going just over 3 minutes per kilometer pace. I've got a lot of adrenaline still. I've got a lot of fight in me today. I'm feeling pretty good, but I know that I'm not in tip-top shape. Beautiful stuff. We're already a pack of 3, and I can tell from this early stage already that we're going to have a hell of a race on our hands today. Here's a quick tip. When it's really cold like this, 4 degrees, wear your shortest pair of shorts, a vest, put on some arm sleeves, and give it an absolute full send. Oh, I know how much us runners love new merchandise and new kit day, and I must say this new Best Athletics Adidas kit really makes me feel the part. I'm absolutely in love with it, and I know when I put on this kit it means business time. Okay, so why I mentioned I need to be sensible earlier and I'm not in tip-top shape is because I did Berlin Marathon, which I think was 6 weeks ago, in 2 hours and 22 minutes 12 seconds. Since then I've had a complete blowout. I've enjoyed life, I've indulged in the finer things in life, but now it's time to pull it back. I like scattering races throughout the calendar, and this was a complete out of season 10k. Since then I've been to 2 Rugby World Cup games. I've been playing very hard, so I can't expect to fly when you do that, but all I want is a really solid effort, and I want to be tough today. Sub 32 was in the back of my mind. I don't know if that's too much to ask, but I'm feeling good at this early stage, so let's see how it plays out. That's Ben in the white. He's pulled up next to me just to show me that he's there, and that's Oliver in 3rd place right behind us. I've been happy to take the lead so far, and we're nearing the first kilometer. Here it comes, first kilometer, 3:10 per kilometer. Remember, we need to average under 3:12 in order to break sub 32 minutes. Let me give you some insight into exactly how I break down a 10k. Please, in the comments below, let me know how you break down a 10k. I would love to know. So I break it down into 3k, 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 and then 1 kilometer. That first 3k set is all about an active warm-up, controlling that adrenaline, controlling those pre-race nerves, and settling in without burning too many matches. Remember, I'm looking to average under 3:12 per kilometer this race, so by going through the first kilometer in 3:10, we've banked a few seconds, but it's still a very sensible, smart first K, and we haven't gone too deep into the red. If you do find yourself having gone too fast in that first kilometer, which is often the case, don't try and correct it immediately in the next kilometer, as in fly kilometer 2, go slow kilometer 3 to get back on track. Rather gradually tweak the pace as you go along. You still have 9Ks to do that. So right now I'm thinking in the back of my mind that this is an active warm-up. It's feeling really comfortable, and it should feel this comfortable this early on in the race. Very quick shoe updates over here. So I'm racing in the Adidas Pro 3s. This is the pair I raced Berlin Marathon in actually, and I haven't used them since then. Ben over there you can see is racing in Nike Vaporflies, and Oliver is racing in Adidas Pro 3s. 2 Adidas boys and a Nike boy. Let's go. Okay, so let me just put a few things into perspective for you on just how big my blowout since Berlin has been. I had a very intense 8-week Berlin build which I documented. The race, honestly, it went well. I'm walking away proud with a 222. Sub 220 will come one day. At the start of Berlin Marathon, I weighed 75.5 kilograms. I weighed myself a few days before this race and I weighed 79.7 kilograms. So pretty much just over 4 kilograms I've picked up in the last 6 weeks. It's what I needed physically and mentally to just have a little bit of a break. And as a coach, I can't stress how important it is once you've done a very big marathon build, a very intense race, to just completely break yourself down and then build yourself back up again. So weight is not the be all and end all to endurance running, and skinnier definitely does not mean faster. I always live by the theory, stronger means faster, fuel hard and train hard. Having said that, the weight I picked up was not very healthy weight. It was a lot of beers at the Rugby World Cup, especially when South Africa beat New Zealand to take home the trophy. All morals sort of go out the window and you need to enjoy life. So I had a complete blowout that weekend and I had various takeaways between then and now, but I'm ready to get back on it. So it hasn't been healthy calories that I've put on, but then again, I've accepted that I'm not in PB shape. Here we go through the second kilometer, 3:11, and once again I led this kilometer for the bulk of the way. Happy to do that, there's not too much wind. Earlier this year on this exact course I did my 10k PB, which was 30:46. As you can see, I was absolutely over the moon, and this year I PB'd in the 10k distance and the 1 mile distance, and that's it. So going into this race, I had to manage my expectations. I know I'm not in that sort of shape, I haven't trained nearly as hard, and I know if I try and go for that sort of time, I'll completely blow up. In actual fact, it's impossible. I can't go for that time. However, it doesn't make it easier. It's hard to accept, but I need to accept it. Otherwise, I'll stand a big chance of blowing up in the second half. With higher end running and performing at your absolute best comes certain sacrifices. I completely understand that, and I know this race, it's not a goal race in the calendar. It's merely there to keep me motivated and to just have that extra reason to get in those sessions, those 50-50 times when you're not sure about getting out the door. I promise you, enter a race, and often that's a motivating factor to say, okay, cool, it's coming up, you better get your butt out the door and get this session in. My cadence throughout this 5k is 187. Remember, cadence means how many steps you're taking in a minute. I know that next year, if I want to see significant improvements, I'm going to have to increase my stride length. Average stride length for this 5k was 1.69 meters. Remember, if you increase that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeters, those tiny differences make quite a big chunk of difference at the end of a race when you take so many steps. I'm 1.83 meters tall, or 6'1", and by increasing my stride length, the way I'm going to do this is by doing various strengthenings to strengthen up weaker areas, and especially do some more running drills in order to improve that hip mobility that's currently a bit tight. Okay, back to the race, back to business. As you can see, Ben's making a little bit of a gap on me. Often I'm closing him down. However, sometimes when he throws in a surge, it's a bit too much for me to close down. I'm not extremely comfortable, but I also don't want to let him get away. What I've noticed running behind him is that when there's the 2 sharp corners on the race, he definitely takes them aggressively and puts in a bit more of a surge into them than I do. Remember, there's 8 of these corners throughout the race, and he has a tip: if you do a very bendy or windy 5k where there's sharp turns, aggressively go into them, because all of them add up at the end of the day. We've just gone past the finish area right over there on the left, and this signifies 3 laps to go. At the moment it seems like a 2-horse race. I'm right behind Ben. I don't know Ben very well. I don't know what he's capable of. I don't know how comfortable he's feeling. He's looking pretty strong, looking pretty smooth, but I can't chat anyone behind me. Oliver was behind me earlier. However, I also don't want to look back. Actually, in running, you never want to look back. As soon as you look back, it gives the person behind you hope. It shows that you're in pain. You want to see how big the gap is, and it's extremely motivating to the person behind you. Coming into the 3rd kilometer, there it is, 3:08. Ben has put his foot down It's a few seconds faster than the start. As you can see, I've let the gap develop a little bit bigger, which shows I'm not closing it as well as I was early on, and rightly so. It's a little bit faster. It's not comfortable. At the same time, it's not easy for me to accept. Remember, my 10K PB a few months ago on this course was at 3:05 per kilometer pace. So this is slower than that. However, I can't answer it, but I need to be sensible. I don't want to blow up. I'm feeling good, but I've run enough 10Ks to know that you need to feel good at this early stage in the race. Even though I'm not leading this race and I've won the last few Shi Chimnoi races I've done, I'm actually surprising myself in a way. I thought sub 32 would be a massive ask given the way I've behaved recently, so I'll take this all day long. Remember, I do a lot of my training solo, normally after I drop my little one at nursery. And you know, all the corporate people are at work, so I don't have groups to join. I've done lap after lap. I've probably done 1,000 gazillion laps around Battersea Park. So hey, I'm just loving having some company right now, and honestly it makes paces feel a little bit quicker and easier when someone's in front of you or just behind you. It keeps you motivated, whereas when you do this by yourself, you face all those demons. It's just you, and yeah, it's just good to have some company. Let's go. Another two things that are massively motivating me throughout these laps is seeing athletes that I coach coming in the opposite direction, doing their sessions. A lot of them are building up for Valencia Marathon. They had some big sessions on the card. I think some of them had 3 by 10K. It's a peak training time, so I can see them doing their sessions coming towards me. I'm trying to think, are they having good runs? Thinking in my coach's capacity, but at the same time, I need to stay concentrated for this race. And another thing that's motivating me big time is seeing other Best Athletics vests. You'll see them regularly throughout, hopefully in this video. And every time I see one, I just get a sense of pride and joy. It's a club I created and started a few years ago. And when I see a vest, it's so uplifting and motivating. It's almost like seeing your kids grow up. It's just something so beautiful for me to see. So we're at that stage of the race where it's the grind stage, and here you need to remain focused and concentrated between kilometers 3 and 6. At the moment, we're not at the halfway point just yet, but already the burn is starting to feel real, and the demons can start popping to your head as early as this stage in the race. That's why it's incredibly important to concentrate. It takes a lot of concentration to tap into your reserves and push your body to its maximum potential. My watch splits aren't exactly lining up to the course markers. I know the course is 10 kilometers exactly. It's been officially measured, England Athletics certified. So your GPS is never going to be 100% accurate. So my watch is beeping a little bit before the kilometers. So it's showing me that my average pace is slightly quicker on my watch than what my actual average pace is in real life. Here we head into the 4th kilometer, 3:10 per kilometer for that one, tracking very nicely. However, I know we're extremely early on in the race and the magic happens in the second half. Remember, for each race you do, I think try and set your mind for the second half. That's where the magic is made. You can make up a lot of time on the second half. You can also lose a whole heap of time that you don't want to do. That's why you want to save your mental energy for that stage of the race. Can I just say that Ben in front of me has got a silky smooth stride, really good runner, and I've closed down the gap a little bit here. However, whenever he surges and I can't close the gap, I get frustrated, but I say to myself, Nick, just accept it. It's the shape you're in. It's all you can do for now. We're heading into a corner here, and just check how he surges and this gap opens up. So like I said earlier, you need to accelerate into these bends. I'm not quite doing it myself, but hey, there's always good things to know that you can improve on and get quicker. That mini surge over there, he's put a big gap in me, and now I'm sort of over my threshold, working hard to try and reel him back in. But I know if I let him go now, I'm going to be in solo city for the rest of the race. It's really hard because I actually don't know what sort of shape I'm in. I've had a few decent sessions in the build up to this race. However, I know that I can definitely put in a surge to go in front of him, but I also know that that's most likely not sustainable. Nick, stay smart and just stick where you are. You're currently just under 32 minute per K pace. Don't get greedy. You would have taken this hands down before the race. Let your competitive side motivate you, stick with him, but don't go crazy because you're quite simply just not in that shape. Once again, accept it, buddy. So my stride is not feeling as smooth as I would like it to feel, but then again, it's an out of season race. It's never going to feel smooth out of peak shape. All I'm thinking in my mind is stick with Ben every kilometer from here on in, and if it comes down to a sprint finish, I'm hard to beat at a sprint finish. I would like to close the gap, but I've made the conscious decision that even if I increase my pace by that tiny bit, it's probably almost half a second or a second a kilometer that could put me out of my comfort zone. I'm in touch with what my threshold pace is, and I'm currently pretty much on my limits. However, I know I'm close enough for Ben to know that he can hear I'm there and keeping him on his toes. Now I'm trying to put my mind in Ben right now. If I was in front of me, what would I be saying? I'd probably be saying, do I surge now, try and break him with still a big part of the race to go, or do I just keep it how it is, and if it comes down to a sprint finish, back myself? This right here is always a tricky stage of the 10k. The burn is real, you're well over your threshold, but you're not at halfway just yet. Through the 5th k in 3:12, the gap has gotten a little bit bigger, but that pace is on the money and I'm backing myself towards the end. Here's the halfway split, 15:54. If we had to do equal splits, it would give us a 31:48. So pretty much 6 seconds to play with in the second half. Let's go. As you can see, we're at that stage of the race where we're overtaking fellow runners in the race, and you have to remain focused and concentrate. You need to pick the right lines. You almost need to anticipate what other runners are going to do. Often they get a fright when they hear you coming up and they try and be polite and move out your way, but sometimes it's the way you're coming on, the side you're coming on, so you need to be able to anticipate that as well and leave enough of a gap. That gap between me and Ben, as you can see, it's getting bigger. I don't like it, but there's not much I can do about it. 2 more laps to go. Remember, we're still in that grind phase, and right now my heart rate is around 172 beats per minute. My max I've ever got it to is 188. I'm above my threshold, which is around 169. However, I know that I've still got a few matches to burn. Should I save them for the end? I'm not going to make my break just yet. I'm a runner that definitely performs better when it's cold, very cold, like icy cold. The cooler, the better. And right now it's 4 degrees. There's not much wind. This is pretty much almost perfect for me, and I need to cash in. I'm coming off the back of a warm summer here in London, warmer conditions than I would have liked. So I thrive in these conditions. Time to get my butt into shape for the upcoming months. So here's an interesting fact. My mate Alex is on a Lime bike. It maxes out at 20 k's per hour. Big shout out to Alex for filming. Phenomenal job, buddy. We're currently running at 3:11 per kilometer pace, which is 5:08 per mile pace, or 18.8 kilometers. My goal in that final stretch is to try and outsprint the 20k limit of the Lime bike. Let's see if I can make it happen. I thrive off that support. Thank you so much to the support from fellow runners out there and everyone who came down and supported this route. You guys were freaking awesome. Okay, so Ben's gap is ever increasing. However, in the back of my mind, I know that I'm a marathoner. I do have that stamina. Don't give up. A lot can happen in the last third of a 10k. I recently did a DEXA scan prior to Berlin Marathon, and I've actually increased by 3% in my upper body. I can notice it, I can feel it. A big part of that is because my oldest child is now 3. She weighs 16 kilograms, I think, and she often goes on my shoulders, so I think it's down to that. But hey ho, I'm not gonna not lift up on my shoulders because I want to remain super light for endurance running. If you follow me on Strava, you'll see I do my track/interval session on a Tuesday morning, every single Tuesday on this stretch of road right here. And the reason why I do it, the thoughts that go through my mind is for these moments right here, for when it comes to race day, for when it comes to pushing, keep pushing yourself. The money's made in training. Races are always just the victory lap. If anyone ever wants to come join me or cycle next to me, I'm here every Tuesday morning around 8:40 till 9:30. Please come along, I would love to have you. Boom, and we've just ticked off kilometer number 6, 3:11. Guys, we are not slowing down, but I've got news for you. Ben is only getting faster and faster, and for the first time in my race, I think, cool, let's bank that sub 32, do what you can to get there. If you finish second, that's okay, but don't give up. Okay, we're entering into that crucial stage of the 10K, kilometer 7 to kilometer 9. Remember in the beginning I told you I break this 3 kilometer stretch down as give it all you've got. I can almost relate the stretch to between the 3 and the 4 kilometer mark of a 5K. That always seems to be the slowest and the toughest. This 3K stretch right here, once again, it's probably the slowest in many cases and the toughest, so it's important to not lose concentration. Think about what motivates you. Think about what helps you find that extra gear. It might be a person. It might be a person that's no longer with you. It might be the fact that you're buzzing because you're on track for a PB. It might be the new kit you're wearing. Whatever it is, let it hit home, because this part right here, you run with your heart from here all the way to the end. If you think this part is easier for a sub-elite runner like myself, or even for elites, you are fooled. This part hurts for absolutely everyone. Since I've gotten quicker and quicker over the years, I've got more and more respect for elite runners. First of all, they have the physical talent it takes to get there, but second of all, that mental resilience, showing up day in and day out without fail, is something very, very, very few people can handle, and I completely respect that. I cannot complain at all about conditions on this chilly London morning. However, I must say on this corner it's very slippery. Check, I nearly came short over here. Hey, but we stay on our feet and we live to fight another kilometer. Let's go. Seems like I'm stuck in no man's land. The burn is getting real. I can feel myself slowing a little bit. I'm giving more effort, hence why I'm checking my watch a little bit more regularly now than in the beginning, just to have a close look that average pace is not slipping. Here's a fellow Best Athletics teammate grinding it out right there next to me. Oh, my heart. Thank you for the motivation. People often ask me, do arm sleeves make a difference? Do they increase performance? Do they make you faster? To me, they make you feel better. When you feel better, you run faster. So yes, to me, I feel like they do make you faster. So going into this race, my sleep has never ever been this bad. I'm a double dad. My eldest one is almost 3. My youngest is 7 months. They've both decided to wake up at different hours throughout the night. So I'm in bed for around 8 to 9 hours. However, I'm up for around 2 to 3 hours throughout the night. And I cannot stress the importance on sleep. Good sleep and good running goes hand in hand. Parents out there with kids will be able to relate. They can understand. People out there without kids, they won't. Before I had kids, I didn't really understand. My number one tip and advice to you, if you don't have kids and you're planning on having kids in the future, get those PBs in now. Here we go, 7th kilometer, 3:13. Slightly slower than the other kilometers, but not bad. Remember, it's a really tough phase, and I know I can always find something when I can smell the finish line. I'm in second place, quite a bit off first. The chances of someone coming up quickly behind me is extremely rare. I'm not slowing enough for that, but hey ho, in a 10k race at Battersea Park, you just never know. I've still got 5 corners and bends to take before the end of the race, and you always weigh up going into the corner if there's people. Do you go on the inside and take the shortest line, or do you go around them? It all depends on the gap, to be honest. If there's a gap, you go for it. However, if there's not, you have to go out the outside. It's everyone's race, everyone's giving it their all, but just know that if you go around the outside, you might be adding a meter or 2. If it's 2 meters over 5 bends, that's an extra 10 meters in the race. 10 meters, well, you do the maths. At the end of a 10k race, that's actually quite a lot of seconds, and you don't want to be that person that says, according to Strava, my 10k time was X, but according to race time, it was X. No, race time is the official time. That's what counts. Nutrition wise, I definitely didn't need any drinks this race when it's cold like this for a 10k. Completely fine. Before I started, I had a Beta Fuel Science and Sport gel, which is 40 grams of carbs, and I had a shot of Ketone IQ. Just went past that finishing stretch and tent for the last time. I know the next time we come through, we're going through there. It's under 2.5 Ks to go. Come on, Nick, give it your all last lap. Come on, buddy, you've got this. Right now, am I regretting having all those extra beers at the Rugby World Cup final? Probably. But at that point in time, I said to myself, if this slows me down on a 10k, who wins? Let's live life hard. So at the end of the day, no regrets, no excuses. Work hard, play hard, run hard. As you can see right here, I'm not exactly taking the shortest line in the bends. However, on my watch I got 130 meters over. I don't think it was that much over, but definitely you're going to end up running a little bit further than 10Ks when overtaking people. I often wonder when I run past runners like this, they're motivating you. I wonder if they're thinking like, that's awesome work, keep going, or if they're actually cursing you inside their head thinking, this guy, he's already done an extra lap, I've still got another lap to go, come on. Whatever the case, we're all grinding it out. In running, there's no shortcuts. Absolute full sends here for everybody. Whether you were first or last, quick or slow, who cares? It's always you versus you and trying to be the best you that you can be. 8th kilometer, 3:13 once again. Looks like I've solidified second place most likely. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm slowing a bit. I know my watch is out, so I'm actually going a little bit slower than my lap splits. Sub 32, it's gonna be tight. Often in my running career, things have come down to seconds. I'm either just under or just over. When it comes to marathon distance, unfortunately, I'm just over 2:20 and 8 seconds. So I've got to find 9 seconds there. But I use that as motivation because I'm thinking, do what it takes to get under. That feeling of going over sucks. You remember, bottle it, use it as motivation for these moments right here. Quick notes on the kit, which I'm clearly absolutely loving. Look out for some cool Black Friday sales. I will be putting them on special. They're available to purchase anywhere you are in the world. I've limited stock, it's gonna fly, so make sure you're quick. So you can't really see, but Ben is probably around 10 to 15 meters ahead. I know when I can smell the finish, I've got a kick. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, hey, I can win this thing. I can. I am burning like hell, but guess what? So is he, and that gap is not getting any bigger or any smaller in the last 2 kilometers. If I find something at the finish, you just never know. Hang in there, stay tough, stay in the game. We now have just under 1 mile left of the race. You can find something extra always in 1 mile. Something crazy often happens in this stage of the race. Something crazy does happen. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? We'll find out shortly. So Ben is getting no further or closer in front of me. However, I'm starting to hear footsteps behind me. I know Battersea Park is open to the public. It could be someone doing their session, doing an interval and then taking a break. It could be someone in the race. I don't know, but I don't want to look back. If I look back, it's going to show a form of weakness. So let's just focus on you and try and stick to the task at hand. The body is burning. Hold your form. This is where you do your track and interval sessions. These moments are what you think of. Hold it all the way to the finish, Nick. Come on, baby. You've got this. If you don't believe in yourself, then no one will. These footsteps are getting louder and louder behind me. Someone's definitely creeping up on me. What the hell is going on? The gloves are going to come off and it's going to be an absolute dogfight in this final kilometer coming up. To be honest, we're all mates. It's all good vibes, but we're pretty much as competitive as it comes. And here comes Oliver, who I haven't seen since about the 2nd kilometer. He hits me with pace, with authority, exactly the way you should, making sure that I can't stick with him. And that's what I would do to me as well if I was feeling that good. I don't have an answer, but I do know that I might have an answer in the final 300 meters. Nick, stay in the mix, stick with him, come on. Once again, Oliver also put quite a lot of distance to me on that corner. Next time I come to Battersea to do an interval session, I'm definitely going to practice hitting that corner harder than normal. 9th kilometer, 3:11. I've actually picked up the pace a little bit. I got overtaken like that, which means this guy, Oliver, in front of me is flying. Can he actually take the win? Can he reel in Ben, who is around 10 seconds in front of me? Right now, it's killing me because I know I'm capable of more when I'm in shape. But Nick, I said from the very beginning, You have to accept the shape you're in, be tough, and be the best you. Another day with more training, you would be right up there in the mix, but not today. Stay tough. If these boys are watching, please let's have a rematch in the new year. Just kidding, you guys absolutely pushed me to my limits. I hope I helped you as well. All in all, what a race so far. Let's hold it till the end. Come on. Heading into the last 500 meters, and remember what I said from the very beginning, the last kilometer never counts. In that last kilometer, you can always find something extra. When you can hear the finish line, you can smell the finish line, your body can sense it's getting closer, you get that adrenaline buzz, and you can just click into that extra gear you never thought you had. So break it down as a 9K race. In the last kilometer, trust me, you will find something. Here's a look at my heart rate throughout the race. You can see that gradual climb, no spiking. That's exactly what you're after. I averaged 167. I maxed out at 177. My overall all-time max is 188, so I was 11 beats off that. I could feel aerobically I had more to give, but physically, that's where I was at. At the moment, I'm actually just over the 32-minute barrier. I really don't want to fall short by a few seconds. I'm watching the most epic race play out in front of me. I'm breathing very, very heavy for the first time in the race, as you can tell, and I'm just going to keep quiet and let you see how this race plays out for me. I've got one more bend and then it's the final stretch. Come on, Nick, all you've got.
Third place, Nick. Well done, Nick, all the way to line. 31.58.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done, you two. Very good.
Solid running. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah. Big surge.
Yeah, come on. Well done. That was so
You go in the
good.
middle. This guy had a kick on him.
He did. Well done.
Well done, guys.
Certainly wasn't expecting that.
Thank you. Oh, my days. Oh, that's why I race. Not always for the PBs. Oh, because it pushes you to your limits. Sub 32. Very happy with that out of season. Nice to work with some guys, even though they put in a big surge towards the end and I finished third. It's awesome and I can't ask for much more. Oh, this feeling hurts every time, but it never gets old. Happy days. Let's go. How was it?
Second fastest 10k, 33, 32. Happy with that. That was
Nice.
tough.
33, 32. Were you on track for sub 33?
Yeah, the first pack in the first lap was going that pace. It was great, and then two people in that pack pushed on, and it left us in the dust. So I tried to bridge the gap. I left the pack behind, couldn't quite get them. So I was in no man's land. So yeah, we went for it. We gave it a go. Happy with that.
Amazing. I can see you gave it a good go. Look at your cards over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Well done, buddy.
Hey, cheers, mate. Well done.
Nice to meet you.
Good, I really actually enjoyed it. I did like 34.05, 06.
Okay.
I won at sub 34, but I'm going again next weekend, and I haven't PB'd in such a long time, and that was a PB. Woo! I haven't PB'd since Copenhagen.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a solid 7 months
Over any
ago.
distance, so
Amazing, incredible.
Yeah.
Back on the PB train.
exactly. I'm going
Sub 34 next.
racing next weekend, another 10k. So we'll go again.
Amazing.
I feel really
amazing.
good.
You look fresh. I don't know if you pushed as hard as you could have.
I don't.
34.0.
About 34.06.
Amazing. Well done, champ.
So here's a look at the results. Massive congrats to that surge from Oliver at the end. That was unbelievable. You came from nowhere to finished first. You caught me with 1 kilometer to go and you put 12 seconds into me in 1 kilometer. I finished that K in 3:08, which means you did it in 2:56. Insane. You deserve to win. Well done, buddy. Also, big shout out to Ben You were awesome. Massive congrats to Anya, who just doesn't stop performing. So proud of you. Proud to be your coach. Back on the PB train. Let's keep going from here, onwards and upwards. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. I really hope this video has helped you. Boom shakalaka. Let's go.